Hello everyone and welcome back to NetMastery Zone channel. In this set of video we are going to learn about the Palo Alto firewall. Before starting the configuration, let me first discuss a little bit about the lab that we have here. Actually this lab is a little bit big and this part a little bit fancy. Yes, I just created that for my practice to connect site-to-site VPN between Palo Alto and different firewalls. You can see FortiGate, Palo Alto, and also Cisco FTD. But in this set of video we are going to speak about this part. As you see that I have a Palo Alto firewall 1 here, and it's connected to 3 different zones. Zone inside, and zone inside has 2 different sites, and the zone outside is connected to 2 different ISP. The reason that I just created 2 different ISP, that I want to show you some load balancing and also some fallback facility that is available inside the Palo Alto firewall. But for the SD-WAN, unfortunately I don't have any Palo Alto license and I'm not able to configure the SD-WAN, unfortunately. But if you want to learn about the SD-WAN, the firewall, you can go to the in this channel in the FortiGate firewall that I already configured the SD-WAN and how you can use and load balance the traffic in the SD-WAN. Also I have another site here, that another zone that is connected to DMZ, and we have a web server here. This outside actually is connected to live internet, and you can see we will be able to access the internet from this zone inside and also from DMZ zone. As you can see that I have a Windows PC here, and it's in the outside of the network. The reason that I have it here, I want to show you how you can configure the remote access VPN, but Palo Alto called that the Global Protect, and I will show you how you can configure the Global Protect inside the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, let's start with our basic configuration. As you see that this firewall is connected to the management through the management PC. This is my physical PC that I'm recording this video now, and this port actually is out of bound. It means that it doesn't participate in the policy and also in the routing table. Let's access this. Before that, let's first access the console of this Palo Alto firewall. And as you see, by default it just received the IP address 192.168.10.192, and here actually I want to change the IP address in the CLI, and then we can access our GUI using that IP address. For that, let's first log into the console here, username admin and password admin. At first time when you log in, it will force you to change the password, the old password admin, and let me type a new password. Okay, now I just logged in the console of the firewall Palo Alto, but here because I changed the password, we need to commit the changes. Before commit, let me first go to the configure, and here I want to configure the static IP address for the management interface of the firewall, because by default the interface is configured as a DHCP. Let's first change that to static mode, a static type actually. The command is set device config, system, and here let's change the type to static. Now the type is changed to static, and now we can set the IP address, subnet mask, and gateway. Set device config, system IP address, and let's type 192.168.10.20 and net mask with 255.255.255.0 and default gateway 192.168.10.2. This is the configuration that I'm going to use inside the in my management interface of the firewall. Okay, now let's commit these changes. I'm just typing commit and make sure that you are in the configuration mode. Then you can commit these changes. It will take some times, and because of that I may pause recording and play it again after everything is finished, because I don't want to make the video very long and boring. And now let's go to management interface by typing the IP address. As you can see here that the configuration is committed successfully. Now let's type the IP address and try to access the GUI interface. Let me fit that inside this recording video. And by default the Palo Alto is using HTTPS to access the GUI. Let me type that, and you can see this message will come and will force us to accept the self-signed certificate of Palo Alto. As you can see here, certificate, this is a self-signed certificate, and it's created it's by default is created inside the Palo Alto firewall, but we are going to change this and we will use our own certificate. For now, let's log in first, admin, and the password that we configured before in the CLI. Okay, this is the first page, actually the dashboard of the firewall. Let's don't show all of them and close. Let me speak about this later, remind me later. And here you can see in the left side you can see general information of the firewall. I'm using the Pan OS 10, I believe, and here you can see the version, software version 10, and it's the KVM file, and also some other information about the IP address, the gateway, and also the MAC address. For now, let's first of all let's go to our device, and in the setup let's do some configuration here. First I'm going to configure some hostname and domain for this, and then we will configure our DNS and some other configuration here. Let's wait for this to load completely, and then you can click on this gear icon here and start your configuration. I'm going to name that Palo Alto Firewall 1, and let's use the domain nmz.local. Actually, I'm using this domain, and if you have any banner you can use it, and SSL/TLS service profile. For now we don't have any profile, and I will show you how you can create that. This profile is used for secure access this management interface. For now you can see that the connection is not trusted by the browser, and it said that it's not secure. We will do that later, and then let's configure our time zone. Time zone, here I'm in Sao Paulo, America, Sao Paulo, and date and time, let it be. Let's save this for now, and then let's go to the services. Here you can see device management and setup. In setup we have management and some other menus. Here I'm going to service, and here let's configure the DNS server also. Okay, now let's commit these changes here by clicking on commit and commit. You can see that the commit will start, and we can close this and let the commit to complete in the background. I'm just closing that. If you want to see the commit, you can click here on down in the left, in the right side, and here you can see that the commit is which commit, the date, and also the process, and so on. Let's close this, and now first let's go to the setup, and this time let's go to the certificate. I'm going to create a self-signed certificate here, and then create a SSL/TLS service profile to access this web page securely. For that, let's generate. Of course, we can import a root certificate from an enterprise server, but here let's create it locally. That makes our video very easily and very fast, because requesting a certificate, sign it, it takes some time, and it's I think not a very interesting thing and not a very difficult job. Certificate name, let's make it self. Let's do it firewall 1 self root. This is a root certificate that I'm going to create, and I will actually sign other certificate using this root. The common name same, I'm going to use the same name, and here I do not need to use any external authority CSR. I'm going to use it as a certificate authority and generate. There is no need for any other information, but if you want, you can of course add the organization, for example NMZ, and also if you want to add a department, for example, let's IT, and some other information. If it's required, you can add it here, but it's okay. Let's generate the certificate. Okay, the certificate is generated, and you can see here this is CA root certificate, and also it has the key, the private key, because it's the root. Now let's create another certificate and sign it with the root certificate to use it in a SSL profile for accessing the management interface securely. For that, let's click on generate, and this time I'm going to name that MGMT, for example, web cert. And for common name, let's use the exact IP address that I'm using for this management interface. That is because when we are trying to access that, and when the browser check the name, if it's with different name, then it will give us a message, and it may not accept the certificate. And here let's sign that with firewall 1 self root certificate. It's not a certificate authority. And here in the certificate attributes, let's again add the IP address to make sure that the browser accepts it, 10.20, and also I'm going to add the host DNS name, same IP address, .20, and let's add the organization also. Let's name that NMC. That's enough, and let's generate it. Okay, this successfully generated certificate and key pair, and you can see here it's not a root certificate, but it has the private key here. Let's download this certificate and install them in the PC. I'm going to download them first, export the certificate, and I don't need to export the private key, just the certificate. And okay, this one is imported and exported, actually downloaded, and this one. Okay, now I have both of them, the firewall root and the certificate for management. Now let's go and create a SSL service profile, SSL/TLS service profile, again in the device. And here you can under the certificate management, let's go to SSL/TLS service profile. Let's create one. I'm going to name that MGMT web profile. Let's add a TLS also to identify that easily. And now let's select the web certificate, management web cert that we are created before for this profile. And here you can see the protocol setting. We can use minimum and the maximum, any version that we want. Let's leave it in the maximum, and okay. Now I have a profile here, and I can use this profile to assign it with this interface, and next time we'll access this interface securely. For that, let's go to the device again, and in the setup, in the management, and here again, let's wait for this gear to come up. And SSL TLS service profile, let's select that as a management web TLS profile. That I just write it pre-file. Okay, that's okay. For the management interface, let's okay, and let's commit these changes also. Okay, when it's going to commit, let's go to our download folder, and let's install these two certificates. I'm going to move these two in the certificate folder to make sure that all the certificate is in the same folder. And first of all, let's install this root. Right click and install. Let's open that. I'm going to install that on the local machine. Next, let's accept this, and let's place that in the trusted root certificate authorities in the Windows. Next, and finish. Okay, this one is imported successfully, and now let's import this one also. Install certificate, open local machine, yes, and in the same folder. Okay, now we have the certificate installed in the Windows, and also we assigned this certificate, this SSL profile in the management. Then we should be able to access this securely next time. Let's wait for this to this commit is configure as finish. Let's see. Okay, the configuration committed successfully, and also it tells us that we can refresh the browser window. Okay, now let's close this, and it's automatically refreshed, but let's do something. Let's close this, and next let's close this one and try to delete all the history, because we already accept the self-signed certificate before, and it may conflict to each other. Okay, now I just I believe I've deleted that. Let's delete the data and close this. Now let's go and type https 192.168.10.20, and this time I should be able to access the web page without any message. https. You can see that I accessed that without any message, but still it said that not secure. The connection is not secure, but the certificate is valid. Let's try that with Microsoft Edge and see if we take the same message here. https. Okay, you can see here that the Microsoft Edge said that the connection is secure. That is because Windows, actually we installed the certificate in the Windows, and Microsoft Edge is an embedded software of Windows, and it works with that very, actually I can say better. But in the Chrome, Chrome has a very restricted rule for the certificate. Because of that, it is still said this is not secure, and it's recommended to not use any personal information, any sensitive information like password or credit card information and like that. But it said the certificate is valid, and if I click on that, you can see the name of that we created before, and also issued by Firewall 1 self root, and the organization NMZ, and the unit is IT. Okay, it means that it just accept our certificate, and now we can access this without any message, but still it's not secure. Okay, let's log in with admin. Before finishing this video, I'm just going to go to the device and in the setup and speak a little bit about the configuration that we can do here. For the configuration of the interfaces, of course we will create another video. This video will be too long for that. In the service tab, if you come in the service tab, you can configure the DNS server and also the NTP server here. But at the end, we have a service feature. If I click on that, let me click on customize. You can see here a list of services that we can enable on this firewall. By default, this services, for example, like DNS, it's going through the through the management interface. By default, let me go to the diagram. You can see, for example, this firewall wants to receive a DNS. It will go through this link and ask for DNS or DHCP or any other services in this list. By default, all of them goes through the management, but we can change this behavior. For example, here we have a Active Directory, and if we want to use any LDAP or radius server, in that case we need to configure LDAP and radius. Let me see if it's available here. Yes, the radius is here, and also for the LDAP you can see we can change this behavior to other interfaces. But for now, actually, because I don't have any interface configured, it doesn't show them in this list. But when we configure the interfaces, all interfaces will come here, and then we can select that, for example, accessing to LDAP server, it should go through this Ethernet one by one. Else it will not be able to resolve the name, resolve the do the authentication, and so on. We will speak about that in the LDAP part when we configure the LDAP. And also, if we go to the interface here, in the interface you can see, let's go to the operational first. Here we can save our configuration or revert any saves. If, for example, we commit that and we made a mistake and we broke everything, then we can revert it back to our last state of the firewall. And also we can save this configuration. We can load any configuration if we have. We can export this configuration and, for example, import it to another one. And also we can import any configuration, any snapshot that we have from the our old backup. And also here, because again it's not it doesn't have license, I can not use the Panorama. Panorama is a software for managing the Palo Alto firewalls. For example, we have 10 or 100 firewalls, and in that case we can add all of them in the Panorama and then manage them from Panorama directly, very easily and very effective actually. But here in this course, let's just use this management interface of the specific firewall. And one thing else, for the import and export, for example, you believe you have the this firewall. For example, you have 10 firewalls and it's already configured, but you are going to add them to the panorama. In that case, you are not going to configure everything again from the scratch. Then you can export this configuration, and in the panorama you can import them back to the panorama and then edit that according to the requirement. In the service, we just speak about that. We can use the configure the DNS and also the NTP server and so on. In the interface, you can see the management interface. Let me go to that, and the IP address is static, and also the services that is allowed in the management interface. That is the ping, SSH, and HTTPS. It means that I should be able to HTTP make a SSH access to the firewall also, 192.168.10.20. and you can see here it will prompt us. Okay, let's accept this certificate, and now we can access the SSH console of the firewall from here in the management. And let's cancel that. And also some other information that we have the telemetry content ID wildfire. We will speak about this also, the wildfire, what is the wildfire and how we can use that. But again, because we don't have a license, we will not be able to verify our configuration, but of course we can learn about that, the sessions and also HSM. For now, let's finish our video here, and in the next video we will start our configuration by creating the zone and also by configuring our interfaces in the Palo Alto firewall. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video soon.